Good morning. This is Eureka Street Crypto Hub, and I'm Eureka John, coming at you live at 5:48 in the morning on April 5th, 2021, the Monday after Easter. How are you guys doing with your sugar and your candy hangovers, or if you don't have kids, your actual hangover? But yes, I have had so much candy in the past 4 days or something like that, ever since Good Friday, I guess, but a little bit before that, that my nerves are just like, so yeah. But I'm here every morning doing this deal and bringing you the crypto prices first thing in the morning. And just so you know, I'm not a professional crypto guy or anything. I'm just somebody who's learning about all this stuff, and you're along for the ride. And I'm broadcasting every morning about something new that I find every day. And this broadcast forces me to at least study something every single day, and to remain disciplined in that way, to get better and better in this field every day, and just to chip away at something, and to wake up early and get something done before the rest of the world wakes up, and especially before my family and kids wake up. But anyway, I gotta head on down and make that hour-long commute to work this morning, so I get up, and especially early on the weekday mornings, to get this done before that. So, yeah, and I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. Of course, you know all that crap. So, all right, let's get this started. Let me pull up my CoinGecko, and we have Bitcoin. Let me refresh this bad boy right here. Okay. Some people are probably like, never trust anybody that calls things bad boys. Well, I'm one of those guys, so I do use the word bad boy for random things. Okay, Bitcoin, $57,422.85. It has not really moved off center from where it's kind of being stuck at for a while. It is continuously bouncing off of that $60,000 mark. Which, whatever, it's fine. I'd rather it be sitting here bouncing off of 60,000 than bouncing off of 20,000 or 10,000 like it had been for quite a while on both levels. Ethereum found its nice little comfy place at around $2,000, and I will take that for now. It's up 20.7% in the past 7 days. Binance Coin sitting at $348.80. Tether right at $1. Wow, Tether, look at you go. All right, Polkadot at $43.54, bumping up, kicking Cardano down to the 6th place at $1.17 is where Cardano is, and it's down 1.8% in the past 7 days. So let's see here. XRP 70 cents, actually kind of making some strides here. XRP, are you? Uniswap 30.28, and up in 8th place. Litecoin has been kicked down, and Chainlink is right on its butt, just literally nose up Litecoin's butt, waiting to try to hurry up and bump it out so it can move on up. And Theta Network right there, the same thing too. And then here comes Filecoin. Filecoin has been interesting. I haven't really looked into it that much per se, but last night I kind of went down like a little Filecoin rabbit hole, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with Filecoin. First of all, I assumed that Filecoin was built on the Ethereum platform. It is not built on the Ethereum platform. It is its own entity, and it's built on the Filechain blockchain, and it works with the IPFS, the Interplanetary File System Network, and there's no proof of work or proof of stake. There's a proof of space-time, which I just, I love. I love that whole proof of space-time concept. Proof of space on your machine in time, in a certain period of time. So that's basically what that means. But let's take a quick look over here. Filecoin, has done some, a lot of stuff here in 2017. But anybody can mine from just their PC to using huge data mining centers, and you can earn the file token that way. And it's open and it's free, and and the Filecoin network achieves staggering economies of scale by allowing anyone to participate as a storage provider and monetize their open hard drive space. I don't really have that much space on this computer here, otherwise I would do it, but if I ever got some hard drives and some computer with a bunch of space, I would definitely offer up some space of mine. But it's not just you providing storage space either. There are two different types of mining if you want to participate in this Filecoin system, and I have to figure out where I saw that. Okay, here we go. docs.filecoin.io. Types of miners: there's storage miners. They're responsible for storing files and data on the network, which is what we just talked about. Then there's the retrieval miners, providing quick pipes to retrieve files, kind of as in a content delivery network, much in the same way that Theta allows people to share the bandwidth and to avoid the bottlenecks for centralized content delivery networks. Filecoin also allows people to share their storage space and also share their bandwidth for content delivery networks. So it's kind of similar concepts, Theta and Filecoin going here. Although Theta has branched out to become its own entire virtual machine, and it's not just about streaming anymore. They have their mint, their DEX. You can do NFTs on it, and a whole bunch of stuff on the Theta network. But Filecoin focuses specifically on the storage sector, and I have added that to my handy little. Hold on, let me put this up here. Oops, hold on. I have not forgotten about my handy little spreadsheet here that I am building out, and I added Filecoin. Whoops, hold on. There. I added Filecoin right there, and proof of space-time is its mechanism, and it's on the Filecoin blockchain. And there's not a whole lot else it does. None of this other stuff, DEX, DeFi, interoperability. Actually, interoperability, I could probably check that. But storage sector, I created a new category down here at the end. Hold on, let me pull this over so I can show you. Oh, Lordy. Oh, okay. All right. So over here, I added a new column called storage sector because there are some other tokens that do approach this, like Storj, STORJ, and then there's Filecoin, and Filecoin I think is one of the older ones. That approach this need in the space. So, but Filecoin is definitely one of the ones that is blowing up the most. So really interesting to see. And let's see if I did find a CoinDesk article of the top 100. Where is it? Hold on, I'll have to go into my Twitter bookmarks and open it again. Okay, here we go. The CoinGraph top 100. And I never totally believe in these top lists and stuff like that because they're always subjective and they're done by some people that consider themselves the authority. But it's Cointelegraph, and they did a top 100 of the year in the crypto space, and Juan Benet, however you want to say it, founder of CEO and Protocol Labs, and Filecoin comes from Protocol Labs, and American computer scientist who founded Protocol Labs in 2014. The following year, he created the Interplanetary File System. So that is basically what the decentralized blockchain and internet is based on. Basically, is Interplanetary File System, IPFS. And you can make your computer IPFS ready by installing the little plugin in your browser up in the window. I do have it. Let me see here. Extensions. And let me put my, details. Okay, so it is enacted and enabled there. Right there. The IPFS companion. You can make your computer IPFS compatible. And if you have an unstoppable domain, like for instance, I have eurekajohn.crypto that I'm going to be creating a blog on, I can plug in the IPFS extension, and I can work with those these things like the .crypto domains and the Filecoin type of projects and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things now that are going to be built on this IPFS infrastructure, and Juan Benet is the founders. Come on, oops, wrong one. Okay, of Filecoin. So it is changing the space quite a bit with the use of IPFS and all this decentralized data sharing networks. So Bennett, and then of course they get in real quickly into controversy in this list, which they don't just list accomplishments; they're real quick to jump into controversy. Bennett's year was without controversy. However, shortly after File was listed, he had to defend the platform against claims that Filecoin miners were striking, and earlier in the year he had a public Twitter spat with Tron's Justin Sun. The conflict was over the alleged similarities between Sun's BitTorrent file system and IPFS, even down to the logo. Which is interesting because I'm invested in BitTorrent right now as well, and it has been exploding in growth. And there has been some dubious criticism about BitTorrent. Right now, BitTorrent is sitting in 17th place, I believe. Yes, 17th place on CoinGecko right now, and it has exploded over all day yesterday, 70.7%, and then 7 days, 248.4% right here. So it is very similar to the IPFS. I jumped in at 0.003, and then here it is at a penny, 0.0126. So already some decent money has been made off of it, but I don't know how long that will last. There are some legitimate criticisms about it. A lot of people have criticized Justin Sun for various reasons, but this BitTorrent token is tightly connected to the Tron blockchain, and it is the IPFS version of the Tron blockchain. So let's see here. It says it's a file sharing protocol with a community of over 100 million users. As such, it's become a household name amongst the torrent users of torrent technology and wider file sharing technology. Now, the thing that has going for BitTorrent is it's familiar to the torrent user community that has a long history of promoting sharing and cooperation while resisting censorship. So, I mean, I think just about every single person that is maybe a millennial, or in my case Gen X, but I still knew about this stuff, it was BitTorrent, and a lot of people in college were downloading the latest movies right even when they were still in the theaters. Well, BitTorrent was doing this, so it's a familiar name for a lot of people, and a lot of people are buying the BitTorrent token kind of in homage to the whole anti-censorship and downloading movies type of movement that has happened. And that's basically why I bought it. So that has that going for it, that name recognition, where Filecoin doesn't. But I believe Filecoin has a larger mark with the IPFS system, the interplanetary file system. Interesting stuff here to see and to realize that both of these are kind of competing. However, in the crypto space and the worldwide internet being slowly transitioned to Web 3.0, and that includes the IPFS system and maybe now also the BitTorrent system, there might be room for everybody. So, but at least now you know that you can put BitTorrent and Filecoin kind of in the same category, the storage sector, along with Storage and Filecoin. So it kind of just gives you an idea, at least, at what it is. So I did not really see any specific way, as opposed to Filecoin, to really earn BitTorrent, unless I'm not really understanding it. But it does connect you to Tron TV, which is kind of similar to Theta TV in a way. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Interesting stuff, though. It's not really what I meant to talk about, though. I did want to talk about today. Oh, I did want to go back over here. It's interesting that they use in Juan Benet's little top 100 splurge right here, whatever it's called. That his quote that they put a quote by somebody is about Tron. Tron also can't even think of an original logo. Basically, he's saying that Tron is copying off of him. Justin Sun is. I wouldn't want something negative like that to be representing me as a person in a list of who's who. I mean, come on. Cointelegraph couldn't think of a better quote. Yeah, but yeah, that's just me. I don't want to surround myself with negativity like that. But the guy seems to be a really smart guy. That's probably not all there is to the guy. So, yeah, Cointelegraph could have probably picked a better quote. But that's just my opinion, man. That's just like my opinion. So anyway, let's just take a quick look. All of us, nobody gets number one, in a very highly competitive new space. Andre Cronje, okay, founder of Urine Finance. Sam Bankman-Fried, Alameda Research. Michael Saylor, number 4. Barry Silbert. Hayden Adams, Juan Bonet. Caitlin Long. Chris Marzalek. Crypto.com. Interesting. Okay. Plan B, the creator of the stock to flow model. He should have probably been up in the top 5, I think. Vitalik Buterin, of course. He's weighing down on number 12. Anthony Pomp. He's ahead of Vitalik Buterin. That doesn't make sense to me, even though I like the Pomp. But, yeah. Gavin Wood, Jesse Powell, Brian Brooks, Jack Dorsey, Edward Moncada, Blockfolio. And then all the way down here, you have, where is he? Number 17. Load more. Wait, what? Oh, Sergey Nazarov is down here, number 24. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. Sergey Nazarov should be up in the top 5, in my opinion, because Chainlink is really everywhere. Chainlink is a part of everything, everywhere. So, yeah. So, yeah. If you don't know who Sergey Nazarov is, look into who he is. Some people even posit that he might even be Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm not sure I would go that far, but just because his initials are SN. But there's a lot more. He needs to be above number 24. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so let's get back to what I was going to talk about. Let's see, where are those tabs? I can never find those. Okay, so paying for goods and cryptocurrencies versus credit cards. Cryptocurrencies are the next evolution of money, but will they replace credit cards and debit cards as the new way to perform cashless transaction? In the latest CoinVerge article, we take an in-depth look. Cryptocurrency lowers risk of fraudulent charges. So people have asked me, so what's the difference between crypto and using my ATM card? And if this whole, why does it matter if we do a central bank digital currency? Isn't everything digitized already so far? Yes and no. There are a lot of differences. So between using your ATM card that is centralized with a bank versus using cryptocurrency. First of all, cryptocurrency is peer-to-peer. It goes directly to the other person and not through some centralized entity. And there is less risk of fraudulent charges and of because whenever you swipe your card at the ATM, you may think that it's a quick transaction, but it is not. It has to go through maybe 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 or 8 different places before it actually lands. And a copy of that transaction has landed at each of those spots, which creates a vulnerability and opens it up with your personal information to be hijacked and taken and used against you. And then also it's monitored 100% of the time, all the time. And credit card fees and debit card fees are high. People say, well, Ethereum gas fees high. Yes, but there are other avenues being developed that are circumventing that. And so here's some reasons that make credit cards different and ATM cards different. Cryptocurrency lowers the risk of fraudulent charges. According to Cardfellow, when you swipe your credit card in the checkout line or enter online, a series of events take place in order to make your transaction possible. Before you see the money come out of your account, even though it only takes seconds, your card information is seen by the merchant, the acquiring bank, the card service, and the issuer. It means your account information touches at least 4 different locations in order for you to make one purchase, and each of those separate touches means a chance someone will take your information. With cryptocurrency, things are different and far simpler. When you're making a purchase with crypto using a secure cryptocurrency payment platform like UTrust is creating, so I guess this is kind of a little splurb for you trust. Transactions are actually done instantly and moved from the buyer to the merchant without going anywhere else in between. No personal or account information is transferred, just the currency from point A to point B, all recorded on an immutable blockchain. And that's another thing too, with ATM cards and credit cards and everything like that. You have to have personal information in order to be able to do so. And then they are welcome willy-nilly to just find unusual activity. I mean, I've been, just out at dinner with my wife, and then suddenly my bank card does not want to work because I was out on an expensive dinner at a nice steakhouse one time, and they were not allowing payment. It was being declined because they saw as unusual activity that didn't meet their algorithm of what I would normally do. You know what? I don't need some centralized banking entity to try to determine what I would normally do, then not allow me to use my card if I want to go. I mean, imagine if that was my wife, she understood. But I had to go outside and spend like 15 minutes outside on the phone with these damn bank people trying to get them to release my card and explain to them that I was at a steakhouse with my wife. But what if that would have been with some clients, and they're sitting in there by themselves or amongst themselves while I'm outside, not being able to get done what I need to get done, and fighting with the bank about possible unusual activity. So with cryptocurrency, this would not happen. It would just be peer-to-peer. And so this is just too much power in the centralized fields. And then that with all the NSF fees, and you having to use all your personal information every single time you make a transaction. This is not the case with cryptocurrencies. Of course, the government and any other type of entity being able to look into every single transaction you do as well. People say, well, they can do that with cryptocurrencies as well. Yes, they technically can, but it's not as easy, and your information is not spread around, widely available to everybody. So anyway, another thing is credit and debit card fees are high, with the likes of MasterCard and Visa charging interchange fees for processing payments. The merchants feel the sting of high credit and debit cards fees on a daily basis. A fee often, by the way, that's incorporated into the price of the item, so the cost to the merchant is covered by the buyer. So it's actually the consumer who often bears the cost of the fairly exorbitant fees, which isn't right. To give you an idea of how big the business of interchange fees is, in 2014, the merchants in the United States paid $61 billion in interchange fees. Just fees, $61 billion. Can you imagine how many people that can feed? And I imagine that was in 2014. I can only imagine now, and especially with all this inflation going on and the possible hyperinflation we're facing. Are MasterCard and Visa going to give up that sort of revenue up? Not likely. They are going to find a way to fight against this. Enter cryptocurrencies. Paying with crypto reduces those fees to a negligible amount. Again, their plugin UTrust has created a payment platform that charges a fee of just 1% for the merchant and nothing for the buyer, much lower than the likes of PayPal or credit cards. What's more is savings that merchants will make will likely be passed on to the buyer too, so everyone wins. No more chargebacks. Credit card chargebacks are a huge problem for merchants. In fact, merchants lose billions every year to fraud and chargebacks, so this is no small matter. Chargebacks are when a customer sees a charge they don't recognize on their credit or debit card statement because they've forgotten and what it relates to, and they contact their bank directly requesting the transaction to be reversed. The disputes often lead to a refund or chargeback, quote unquote, being issued, as it is often not deemed cost effective for the banks to open an in-depth investigation. So basically it's like, it's too much trouble, here's the money back, and then most of the time people are not trying to commit fraud because such a high percentage of cardholders take this route when they forget what a charge on their card relates to. It causes the problem to mount up and gives the merchants a big headache. Merchants are hit not only with the cost of the reverse transactions, but with various fines, fees, and reputational damage. So accepting cryptocurrency payments prevents chargebacks from happening and can save businesses both time and money, because you can't charge something if you don't have it. And then worldwide access. Crypto is worldwide, even though Visa says that they're everywhere you want to be. There's restrictions, and I have traveled, and I've had my Visa card shut down, and it's everywhere where I want to be, but not necessarily where they want me to be. So I guess you could kind of explain it that way. If I'm in a place where they decide it's questionable, they can shut me down. With crypto, they cannot shut me down. So that's the little spiel on that. And I did have another article up there about central bank. Okay, here's another one. What are the differences between cryptocurrency and the digital currency and a cryptocurrency? And this is done by BBVA, so it's coming from the horse's mouth. Central bank-backed digital currencies such as the potential digital euro and digital yuan may become the reality in the coming years. Unlike cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, these currencies promise less volatility and greater security. In addition, they will have the support of their respective monetary institutions responsible for ensuring financial stability. So, the European Central Bank is studying and analyzing the creation of the digital euro under the concept of a central bank digital currency, CBDC. And I see this everywhere all the time. And there are a lot of countries right now toying with the idea of CBDC and or implementing the idea of the CBDC. The United States probably already has a plan ready to roll out at the flip of a switch. China has pretty much already done it. India is working on it. And as of now, I believe Japan, they began their study for the CBDC, and again, people are like, "Why does this matter?" It does matter because it eliminates cash, and with cash, you can have private peer-to-peer transactions, which is the beauty of cryptocurrency, because it allows private peer-to-peer transactions without some kind of government oversight, and if you want to pay a kid to mow your lawn and you want to throw the kid $20, you can do it by throwing him a $20 bill. And that's the beauty. You can do that with cryptocurrencies as well. With a fiat, centrally owned digital currency, you will not be able to do that. Everything will be monitored and your identity will be tied to everything. And that's the elimination of cash. And unlike these two cryptocurrencies, okay, let's see here. Where's my cursor? Okay. So the European Central Bank is proceeding with caution and is believed that the first studies and tests could be carried out in mid-2021. One possibility is putting into practice formulas based on blockchain technology, the same one used by cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. This would allow Europe to have tools that allow for greater transparency and monitoring of information, transaction, and movements carried out according to the BBVA research report. Did you see that? It will allow Europe to have tools that allow for greater transparency and monitoring of information, transactions, and movement. It is the surveillance state. That is the CBDC. Allow for greater transparency for them, not for you. Centrally issued currencies backed by central banks. Unlike these two cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, which also have DLT, distributed ledger technology, officially backed digital currencies will be issued centrally and will be backed by their central banks. One of the differences between a digital euro and a Bitcoin is the way they're issued. While the operations in the case of the euro are centralized, and the only one that can issue it is the European Central Bank, in the case of Bitcoin, it is totally different. Bitcoin is mined. Anybody can mine Bitcoin. Anybody can mine Ethereum. And then in the future here, anybody can stake Ethereum and make blocks that way. With a CBDC, not anybody can do it. It is a permissioned network and is not permissionless. And that is what permissioned and permissionless mean. There is a great article on Decrypt. Decrypt has an amazing learning section, by the way. Let's see here. Hyperledger. A lot of these CBDCs are going to be built on Hyperledger. And Hyperledger is not necessarily a blockchain. Hyperledger is a collective of open source blockchains and tools aimed at enabling enterprises to create their own distributed ledgers, which is, people say, oh, it's great, it's open source. It's like Linux, because Linux is the entity responsible for making Hyperledger in the first place. A lot of large scale enterprises it's for basically a lot of big enterprises and big businesses and corporations that want to implement blockchain infrastructure, distributed ledger technology into their system. So large scale enterprises such as IBM and Walmart and Fujitsu have developed projects using Hyperledger. So what is Hyperledger? It's a project hosted by the Linux Foundation to help developers and companies work together to build collaborative blockchain projects. It's a collection of open source blockchain and tools that anybody can use to create their own distributed ledger. So Hyperchain itself is not a blockchain. It is a collection of a bunch of modules and parts and pieces that people can piece together to make blockchains. Kind of like, the Arc blockchain, kind of like the Cosmos blockchain structure. A lot of modules and pieces that people use in the software development kits to be able to piece together to create their own custom blockchains. Like Linux operating system, Hyperledger is open source, allowing others to freely build on top of it. This has led to a flurry of different projects from some of the world's biggest companies. There's a bunch of various pieces of it. They've created Hyperledger Sawtooth, a modular blockchain developed by Intel, Hyperledger Iroha, a consortium of Japanese companies focusing on implementing Hyperledger for mobile. I wonder if this is going to have a part in the Japanese CBDC. Hyperledger Fabric, and IBM, this is the most well-known one, an IBM-led project that supports widely used coding languages like Java, and Hyperledger Indy, a project designed specifically for projects based around individual identity, and Hyperledger Besu, another well-known one, an open-source Ethereum client that can be used to develop dApps and smart contracts. Did you know early on in the project's development, people wondered if Hyperledger should have its own coin? However, the executive director of the project said, "You'll never see a Hyperledger coin. By not pushing a currency, we avoid so many political challenges of having to maintain a globally consistent currency." However, the Hyperledger is basically becoming the backbone of a lot of these central bank digital currencies. They don't have their own currency. They are becoming, in a way, the backbone of the currencies, capital C's. There's some tools. The Hyperledger Caliper let users measure the performance of the blockchain. The Hyperledger Cello, a blockchain as a service tool. Hyperledger Composer, a tool for building blockchain networks. Hyperledger has its own charter laying out the direction of the project. Quote unquote, create an enterprise-grade, open-source, distributed ledger framework and code base. It has 159 engineers from 27 organizations contributed to the development of the Hyperledger Fabric. And what can you do with it? Walmart's using it for their food chain, their supply chain for food to trace leafy greens, porks, and mangoes. Honeywell's using it, to record transactions. They created GoTrade, an online used parts marketplace. The National Bank of Cambodia, central bank, has launched Project Bakong, an e-payment system using Hyperledger Iroha in partnership with Japanese blockchain firm Soramitsu. Mipasa, the Open Blockchain Hub, has launched a platform for tested coronavirus data built on Hyperledger Fabric in conjunction with IBM. Ethaler, built on Hyperledger Besu, it's an open source central bank digital currency pilot with contributions from consulting firms Accenture, Infosys, and the Itaú Bank in Brazil. And then the chain integration project using Hyperledger and RFID tags. This project aims to address counterfeiting in the retail industry and probably much more. Hyperledger is a technology used widely for central bank digital currencies to get back here, and it creates a distributed ledger that is able to be permissioned and tracked. However, Hedera Hashgraph is also getting involved in the creation of CBDCs using Hashgraph technology. So all this is kind of being thrown together in a stew, and I'm not really sure how Hedera actually fits into all this, but they go in and explain it. In simpler terms, CBDC is short for central bank digital currency, an electronic form of central bank money that citizens can use to make digital payments and store value. A CBDC offers three main elements: a digital currency issued by the central bank and universally accessible. But why should a government issue a CBDC when fiat currency exists? If a country issues a CBDC, its government will consider it to be legal tender, just like fiat currencies. Both CBDC and physical cash would be legally acknowledged as a form of payment and act as a claim on the central bank and government. It increases the safety and efficiency of both wholesale and retail payment systems. On the wholesale side, a central bank digital currency facilitates quick settlement of retail payments. It could improve the efficiency of making payments at the point of sale or between two parties. No physical coins or notes are available to individuals in a digital society, and all money is exchanged in a digital format. If a country intends to become a cashless society, a digital currency with a government central bank backing is a credible alternative. The pressure for governments to adopt a CBDC is strong as the market for private e-money is on the rise. If it becomes mainstream, beneficiaries are at a disadvantage because e-money providers aim to maximize their profits instead of the general public's. Issuing CBDCs could give governments an edge over the competition from private e-money. So a lot of private companies are trying to create their own e-money, like Tether, and Coinbase has USDC. There's the true US dollar. There's DAI, the decentralized stablecoin. There's a lot of these stablecoins that are coming out that are really competing heavily. So this is, their answer to it. These CBDCs, they don't want anybody else in control of the money, and so everybody's using CBDCs. They're implementing Hyperledger to create a lot of these, and it looks like now they're possibly doing hashgraph technology. Now China is doing it. Swedish e-krona, the Bahamas sand dollar, the Eastern Caribbean DXCD, the Marshall Islands sovereign. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. Closing thoughts: given the considerable efforts and attention that central bankers are dedicating to central bank digital currencies, they will become a reality soon. Introducing CBDCs to the world will help boost crypto adoption, as people will have the access to the platforms to convert cryptocurrencies into legal tenders. Moreover, it will also help in the financial inclusion of the bankless population. There's far-reaching implications in the future of finance, including the buying and selling of digital assets security. However, the question is when. The answer will rely on the foundations of a legal framework to facilitate the transparency, distribution, and issuance of digital form of money by global governments. Basically, a lot of bureaucracy. As regulators and central banks take concrete steps in the direction of establishing CBDCs, the world will begin to embrace digital currencies as a standard. Not so sure about that, but interesting take on it. So a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of research. I'll link all this stuff in my description. Hey, what's up, Mords B? Thanks. He likes my channel. Let me give you a little something. Theta, yes, is going to be massive. I absolutely believe Theta is going to be massive. I just talked about BitTorrent token. I don't know how long I'm going to keep on it, but I'm at least going to sell a little bit probably to buy some more Theta. So anyway, I got to go to work. I got to do the deal. Got to start my commute. And on my commute, I unplug. I don't listen to any cryptocurrencies podcast generally, and I listen to like the history of Rome, and I just finished that podcast series of 179 episodes, and now I'm on the history of Byzantium, which is like 190 episodes or something like that. Those episodes are a little shorter. Anyway, study your history. That history of Rome podcast series really helped me understand a lot of what is going on right now with the implementation and centralization of society and of currency. And study your history. It will give you a high-level look at a lot of things going on, and that this is actually not the first time that this stuff has happened in history. So study your history, folks. All right, I got to go to work. I've gone on 38 minutes. Has been a long episode, but I just kind of had a lot to puke out. I've been reading a lot at nighttime. All right, bye, you guys.